What is up guys, it's your boy Soul. I'm here, back with another Palworld video. So I have recently made myself what I consider to be the best base in Palworld, even though I haven't even made the base yet, or like the actual buildings inside the base, but I have started combining 4 bases into one huge base. And at the moment, that is what this looks like. So we have 4 separate bases placed on the ground, or I guess we should just call it the Pal box for now, but we also have the base area. So at the moment we have 4 connected base locations where we can build, and they are all as close as they can be. I have also chosen to do this in a location where we can expand even further, and we can have up to, I think, 8 bases would be the cap in this place. Possibly like between 7 and 8, I think, we can do. Now the thing is, if I'm doing 7 or 8, it will not be this symmetrical, and it will not be this aligned, so we will have to be creative there to add more bases here, but I can definitely add at least 3 more, if I want to. Now, the reason for doing this is, like, first of all, it looks cool to have one huge base that is the same size as like 4 other bases combined, and it just looks like a mega base, right? But also, it's very practical. Instead of using fast traveling back and forth between bases, you will have access to 4 different bases in one place. Like if I want to go from base 1 to base 2, I don't have to use any loading screens, no fast traveling, no nothing. I just fly for 2 seconds and I'm going from base 1 to base 2 in literally seconds. The same thing goes from base 2 to base 3, base 3 to base 4, so it both looks good and it's very practical. So let's go through how I set this up, shall we? Now first up, let's go through the location that you want to do this in, and there are some different locations you can choose from. The main thing you need to consider is you need to have enough area to build multiple bases, and you also want the area to be as flat as possible, and that's basically about it. If you can, you probably want to have as little like trees around you as well, and this right here is the place that I've chosen. This is on the Marsh Island, so you have the oil base, like the oil rig is right east of me, the level 55 one, so like, you will know where that is. It's also right next to Katniss, for example, as you can see on the left side, or actually my web camera is covering that, but once again it's on the Marsh Island, all the way down southeast on the map itself, and there we have those 4 bases that is currently connected and aligned perfectly. Here you have a more zoomed out view of the map as well before I start building, so you know exactly where I am. But once again, this is just an example of where I'm building. There are at least 2 other locations that I did find prior to making this one. I just think this one has the most expandability by having access to more bases later down the line, if I want to. So let's go through like setting this up. The first thing you want to do is obviously put down a pal box, and you kind of want this to face the way that you're centering like your next base, right? That just makes building even easier for you, so try to get the pal box to like one of these bigger sides should be aimed at where you want the next pal box to be. That way you can just like directly align yourself and start making platforms according to the pal box, if that makes sense. So from here we're going to start using stone foundations right now and make like a half circle around this pal box right here. And I'm just going to speed this up right now because from here it's very like straightforward. Once you have made some platforms, you can go ahead and disassemble the pal box as well, like I have. So you can place the pal box back again, but on top of foundations this time. You could have just placed down the foundations beforehand, by the way, but like I just wanted to make sure I had the foundations down and targeted the right way. So for me, I put down the pal box first, even though you can just start doing foundations first as well. And then you start making foundations in a direct line to where you want the next pal box to be. And from here, you will just try to get as far away as you can from the base until this like crafting line turns blue, which is right about here for me right now. Now as you can see, there are a couple of trees around me, and I kind of want to get those trees cut down before I build that pal box. So I'm just going to do that right now, like cut down those trees and try to even out the area a little bit. So after a little bit of trial and error here, we have gotten to the point where we can now put down this pal box, and we're just going to flatten out this area as well with some foundations, and we're going to make the pal box as far away as we can from the other pallet box. And you also want to center it on the platform to where the other pallet box was, if that makes sense. So like try to make them as close as you can and on the same kind of pixel as you can as well. From here we're crafting like platforms again towards where the third pallet box is going to be, and once again you just want to get as far away as you can but make the pallet box as close as you can. So right now we're going to try to put down a pallet box just to find out how far away we are and when we can place the pallet box. And right here we did see a blue line for a short second, which means we need 2 more platforms to make, and then we can make the third pallet box. Now, as you can see in the like in the background here right now, or like just a second ago, I'm using my pals to flatten out the area for me. So instead of me chopping down all the trees, I am just putting down the pallet box every now and then and putting out my lumbering pals to start taking down those trees while I'm just building foundations and working on the base. So now we have pallet box number 3 placed, and we're going to work our way towards pallet box number 4, where once again all you're doing is making foundations as far away as you can. And then the 4th one is very easy to make, because this is where these platforms will be aligning with pallet box number 1, because we are now going to start making platforms from pallet box number 1 all the way over here as well. And where those intertwine, that is where that 4th pallet box is going to be. So we're just going to make those all the way over here, and we're now seeing that these platforms are a little bit tall. They don't have to be this tall, so I'm just going to demolish a couple of them as well to once again flatten out the area and make it look kind of nice. Now, once all of this is done, that's when the actual building starts happening. Like, we're going to place down the 4th pallet box very soon here, and then the building starts happening, to where you can let your creative juices flow and just like try to be as creative as you can. How do you want your base to be? Do you want to have 4 identical bases just to make it look nice? Do you want to be more practical, have 1 breeding base for example, and 1 ranch base? You can actually stack ranches inside breeding farms, by the way, if you don't know that. I already have a video on that as well, how you can stack ranches inside breeding farms to take up way less space. But yeah, you can just customize this base exactly how you want it to be. The point is, you now have 4 bases right next to each other, and you can make a huge base. So what I'm going to do, for example, is make 4 different bases here, try to be practical, and you can also see there's a lot of like space in between these bases. I'm going to build my own house in the middle here, just to make it look good as well. Now, my own house, like none of the pals will be working there, so like inside that house, it is just going to be for like vanity purposes. So after a while here of letting my pals flatten out the area and me putting down platforms, this is what my save now looks like. This took me like 4 hours to do, by the way, so it's a lengthy process for sure, but this is just a building process, and this is like very soon now, when we cut down these trees, that is when the actual building starts happening. Like building more platforms, getting breeding farms going, getting some assembly lines going. That is when the actual base making starts happening. For now, we have the baseline of the base itself, and we have done the groundwork. So I don't really have much more than that to give you guys today. I just wanted to talk more about the subject of making 4 bases into 1 huge base and show you exactly how I'm doing it, and give you an example of where to do it as well, because once again, this location right here, it has so much potential. Once again, I can see myself expanding this multiple times over, and there should be at least room for 3 more bases in this place, if you ask me. Could be 2, but I think 3, and possibly even 4. It just depends a little bit on the landscape. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, and let me know, have you made a base like this, like combining 4 bases into 1? If you have, once again, let me know, and I would love to hear like how you have customized the bases as well. So yeah, let me know how you've done things in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a sub, and thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you again in the next video very soon.